to Current Issues. I'm your host, Hesham Tillawi. Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, it's going to be an easy night for us. In the first hour, we will have Jim Tucker, who was scheduled to be with us last week, but I think it worked out fine. This week, he will be with us. We will be talking about a group you probably never heard of. They're called the Bilderberg Group. And then in the second hour, we will be showing a tape, a DVD of the American Free Press conference that took place back in September of 2006. But to tell you the truth, I did not have a copy. I just received my copy of that particular conference, which I spoke at. And you will hear what I said in that conference. And also, we... In the first hour, like I said, we'll be speaking about the Bilderberg Group. Now, who is the Bilderberg Group? For over 50 years, ladies and gentlemen, this particular group has very much been ruling the world. You know, if you heard about the shadowy government that we're supposed to have, that's very much they're these people. Now, who are they? They are very much the wealthiest people on earth, the very influential, the most powerful people, and they very much decide for you and I how to live our lives and how if we live or die. They very much decide the geopolitical areas of the world. They decide which country to help, they decide which country not to help, they decide which country to divide, and they decide which country to add on to. So very much they decide exactly what is going on in the world. So for over 50 years now, the wealthiest family in the world has called together the most influential people in the world for a secret meeting. It's really a secret, but it's not a secret because everyone knows where they are, where they meet. But except you cannot go in there. The media, that's what the secrecy about is. The media can't have access to what is going on in those meetings. Almost every year for the last 50 years, actually 52 years now, because this particular organization started meeting back in 1954. The first meeting took place in the Hotel Bilderberg in Holland. And that's very much, they spend millions and millions of dollars. These most influential people in business, industry, banking, politics, and they very much decide who, like I said, they even decide who our president is supposed to be. Because most of our president, this is the picture of the hotel that you're looking at. This is the Hotel Bilderberg, and that was where they met. But, some of these people who very much go to these, is very much everyone you probably see on the news, like presidents, prime ministers. Actually, Paul Wolfowitz, you've heard about that name. He's the president of World Bank now. Very much of who's who, this is Douglas Feith that you're looking at. He also been to these meetings. This is the guy who was responsible for us going to war against Iraq. Actually, this is the guy that invented the weapons of mass destructions and the uranium from Niger. It was invented by that particular guy after he had went through these meetings. So they very much decide of where this world is going, and they're very much now deciding what happens to us in the United States. So don't believe, George Bush, he had to go through that group. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, everyone who wants to be somebody will have to go through through that group. John Edward and John Kerry, they've been there. And also, believe it or not, Melinda Gates, she's the wife of our Secretary of Defense, Bill Gates. She went through it. David Rockefeller. You will see a lot of these names like the J.P. Morgan family, the David Rockefeller family, everyone, and senators, the Washington Post company, even Ralph Reed. You remember good old Ralph Reed, the guy who was the chairman for the Christian Coalition. So This particular group of people, they will be meeting at the end of this month. They meet every year, very much every year. And they will be meeting at the end of this month in Istanbul, Turkey, to probably decide what is next for the world. And with us tonight is Jim Tucker. He's an investigative reporter with the American Free Press who has been investigating this particular group for the last 25 years. So if anyone knows anything about this particular group, it is Jim Tucker. Jim, welcome to the program. Jim, can you hear me? He's not with us? All right. Looks like he's not on yet. So we will wait until we have Jim on. I'll tell you what, I'll even take him on this phone right here if we have a problem with the other one. We have new phones, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, we had some audio difficulties, so we changed the phones. We have new phones, so I'm hoping that we will not have that, but I can't promise anything though, because keep in mind that this is mostly volunteers' effort, and so every once in a while we might have some problem with the audio like we had last time, but very much almost every time we at least it's you can hear it and understand. And now we're trying to get hold of Jim Tucker so he can come and tell us about this particular group of people and how do they do it, who are they, who supports them. I guess they probably can buy the support because they very much decide who gets the money in campaign contributions. It is, you know, when they invite people, they invite the richest people, you know, like the chairman of Lucent Technology, AT&T, Shell, Texaco. These are the people with the money, and these are the people who can actually make things go. They very much they can make things go in this world. So if you hear us, and by the way, most of them are Masons. You've heard us talking about Masons before. Most of these people are Masons. Most of these people are with that particular group. And okay, let's see. If you just tell me what is going on. What is going on? Keep getting a busy tone. Okay? That it's a hotel. You keep getting busy tone with the hotel? Well, call him right here. And let's see. We've got to get him on. So I don't know what's going on. You can call him without having do that. Yeah, go ahead, call him from here. See what the problem is. Now you know me when I start getting frustrated, and we're not CNN and we're not Fox with all the people and all the millions of dollars. So, you know, the guy's at a hotel, so I don't know why the hotel would be would have a busy signal. Let's see. We when things go wrong on live TV. Let's talk about this particular group. You probably very much know who this group is by now. And you see, this world went through different stages. Number one, like a long time ago, probably about 100 years ago, or maybe a little longer than that, power was in the hands of kings. So kings with armies, they were the power, the absolute power. No parliament, no Congress, no one can have, you know, they may have, you know, parliament and Congress and that, but the absolute power is in the hands of the king or the prince. But then you had the business people with money. But these particular business people with money knew that they can keep this money if the king lets them keep it, because if the king wants their money, he's going to go after it. and he's going to go get that money. Now, these people kind of got smarter, and they started getting together. They very much got rid of the monarchy in Europe. They took the power away from the king. So the king can no longer, if he wants to go and invade another country, he can no longer turn to these people, take their money, and go conduct his war with it. But that's how it was before. So these people got smarter and said, we want to take that power away from the king. So they done away with kings, period. After they done away with kings, now they are actually installing whomever they want to install in these government positions. In Europe, in the United States, North America, and even in other parts of the world. No country and no part of this world is spared of their pressure and their influence. Because all they have to do is pump in so much money into the other person's campaign or their favorite's campaign, and he will look what's going on in France. Look what happened here, because they needed him. The decision to invade Iraq was taken in one of those meetings. Prior to even George Bush being elected, they had to get George Bush elected so he can be, even though John Kerry was also in their hand because he went through that group. See, at the end, these people are not going to let anything go just for, they're not going to take a chance. So if John Kerry would have been the president or George Bush became the president, it would not have made much difference. You think if John Kerry was the president, we would not have attacked Iraq? Probably would have been a little bit difficult, but he would have had to go along with it. Maybe it would not have been the way it's the way it turned out. Okay. What? Okay, you just tell me. Just tell me. All circuits are busy. So now the circuits to that hotel are busy. Let me see that phone. I'm going to do it on live TV. I just can't see. I can't believe that we can't call a hotel. Okay. Let's see. We are doing this on live TV because we can't get hold of our guest. So we want to see what in the world is going on with our guest and why we can't get hold of him. And here we go. We go up, select that, and select this. Maybe he called to tell us that the... all right, we are on live TV using a cell phone. I bet you never seen that before because they told me that they could not make a phone call and all circuits are busy. So I'm getting now, it's ringing. It is ringing. Okay. Welcome. Okay. I guess they decided not to answer the phone. It's a hotel in Washington, D.C. Okay, can I see that piece of paper you have? Okay. Let's see what is going on here. You know, we really don't need anyone to tell us we can keep going, but I want to try because we promised this guy that he will be, okay. Let's see. We go once. 250300. All right. We're right here now. We're trying to get hold of Jim Tucker. Huh? All circuits are busy now. Now, how would you like that? Now, is someone going to tell me now that this is something? You have another cell phone that we can use? Everybody, we tried it from everybody's cell phones? Okay. We can't get a hold of Jim Tucker. I just talked to him right before the show. Okay. What about direct line? Did we try him on that direct line? No. Did you get the same thing? Okay. Hey, you are witnessing. All circuits are busy. Now, what the heck is going on? Where's AT&T, the new AT&T? Don't they understand that we are on call failed? Okay, retry. So we'll see how good these cellular phones. Can you hear me now? Uh-huh.
Thank you for calling the Days in Arlington, located by Fort Myers.
Now we got them. No, we're calling for someone. No. What about 0 for operator? Thank you. Okay. At least we got him. Now let's see. Uh-huh. Hello? Now, someone picked up... I'm not making this up, guys. Someone picked up at the hotel and they're dialing out. Hello? 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 Now, what can I don't understand. I don't understand. They picked up to answer and now they're dialing a number at a hotel. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. You know what? I'm going to keep trying until I get hold of this guy, because I don't know what is happening, or if we're supposed to call him if he had to leave the room. It was a fire at the hotel. I don't know.
Thank you for calling the Days in Arlington.
All right, 0 operator. Yes. Man, is something going on in Washington that we don't know? Maybe someone can call us and tell us. Is there like an attack, or just talk to these people? Oh well. Can we? Okay. Let's see. I think I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to have somebody call him and see what's going on. Maybe they can get him on a different... Okay. I guess you guys are still with us, but we're doing this just to show you that we can have technical problems beyond our control. Now, we're not saying there's a conspiracy out there because we want to talk about this particular subject, but, now my friend is not even, is not even answering. Here he is, he's answering. Hey.
Hello?
Yeah, is Mark there?
Yes, he is. I'll go get him.
Please, tell him to hurry up. We are on live TV here. You are on live TV now, so do you know if anything is going on in Washington?
In Washington, D.C.?
In Washington, D.C., because I can't get hold of Jim Tucker.
Are you serious?
I am serious, and you are on live TV right now. Everyone in the world is watching me, talking to you on a cell phone, trying to get hold of Jim Tucker. If you can, let's go ahead and give him the phone number for the studio and just tell him to dial extension 207.
Okay, I will get hold.
All right. Okay. We're going to try to find out why it happened. So, but let's go ahead and let's put me on this camera. I like this camera shot better than that one. Today is just a free spirit day. You know, whenever we have a problem, I just like to, not me, but I have someone sitting right here in front of me who keeps telling me, take a deep breath. So I'm taking a deep breath so I won't be aggravated. So if you want to call, by the way, if you have a joke or something that you want to call and tell us about it, or if you know who these Bilderbergers people are, if you want to talk about it until we get Jim Tucker on, go ahead and call. Of course, you have, the number. It's right there on the screen, 232-4434, area code 337 if you are watching us on the internet. And in the meantime, we will just chit-chat about anything you want to talk about. What you want? What, this? Okay, you can have it. It's okay. Today, listen, guys, today you can come on the camera if you want. If you want to tell people hello, we're just here. Today is just a day that we never had before. And I kind of like it. I enjoy it because it's relaxing. It's not that uptight look always. And what happened in the world today? Who's killing who? So today we just want to relax. Okay, I'm breathing. Am I doing it right? I have a coach right here in front of me. See, this guy right here, he's just here to make sure that I'm okay. And he's doing a good job at it. He's just enjoying me. Okay, I am breathing slow, deep and slow. Exhale. Okay. Anyhow, I had someone call, and I don't know who it was, but probably Jim Tucker was kidnapped by the CIA and the Bilderbergers. They probably jamming all the signals over Lafayette, Louisiana. We have a satellite up there. If you guys can look outside and see if there's like any space things, saucers or something maybe, beaming down on Lafayette, Louisiana to make sure all signals are jammed so we will not have Jim Tucker on the phone. And I don't know what I want to talk about. There's so much I want to talk about. Hey, let's talk about this wall that they're building in Baghdad. You've heard about it. And also you heard about Harry Reid when he said we lost the war a couple of days ago. And today on Sean Hannity, he was saying, we will win this war. Win what war? We lost the war the first day. The first day we started the war, we lost that war. Okay? Because we had a war on nothing. War on terrorism, that means war on nothing. And you cannot defeat nothing. Terrorism is an idea. You cannot defeat an idea. That is one thing no one has been able to do, is defeating an idea. Ideas do survive. And most terrorists that we have now are terrorists that became terrorists. Oh, they have power surge at the hotel in Washington. Now, I want to know, this is a conspiracy. There's nowhere on earth that I'm going to believe. I just talked to the guy and they did not have power surge. Now they're telling me they had a power surge at the hotel in Washington. Now, anyone wants to explain this one? This guy is an important guy who has been investigating these people in the last 25 years. Jim Tucker, put his picture up there. I want to see him. I want people to see him. He had written a book about these people. He has been investigating these people for a long time. The Bilderberg group. And now they have a surge. I don't believe it. Yeah, that's him. But I think we have like a bigger picture for him with holding his book. It says Bilderberg something. Yes, Jim Tucker. See, he even looks like, and by the way, he was arrested in Italy. He goes to all these conventions almost every year. And paper? Oh yeah, I guess you need this one. Okay, you can have it. I don't need it. I know his name. His name is Jim Tucker. Okay, see, my hair is going all over the place now. And Man, this is fun. I think I'll probably want to have this particular style on the show instead of that uptight style. You know, this way we can talk to everybody just like we're talking to you, just like we're sitting in your living room. Is Gem karaoke? I mean, power surge. That's very powerful. You know, power surge. I just talked to the guy 30 minutes ago, and now I know there was a call on my cell phone from 703 area code, which is, I guess, somewhere, in Washington D.C., somewhere around that area. And but all circuits are busy. So what kind of power surge? I'm telling you, they don't want us to talk about that. But this little wall that they are building in Baghdad, in my opinion, this is the beginning of the end for Iraq as we know it. From the beginning, I maintained that the only reason we invaded Iraq is to divide it into three different... He's on where? Jim, are you on?
Here, sadly.
Very good. I'm glad to have you. What's going on? What happened up there in Washington?
Well, I was standing by for your call about 7:20, and the lights went out. Not just in this hotel. I checked around the neighborhood. All the lights were out. For a while, the phone was still working, but then the phone stopped working. So I tried to call you at a payphone, which was working, and also my cell phone. But when you check back, you'll see several messages from me.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I was worried about you. It's like, I thought maybe the Bilderbergers got hold of you.
Not this time. They have before.
Not this time. Jim, we lost a little bit of time. We have about 26 minutes left, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Tell us, who are the Bilderbergers? What is this group all about?
Bilderberg is composed of international political and financial leaders, heads of state in Europe, high officials of the United States government, as in Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Treasury, high officials of the White House, and other luminaries. They have a secret meeting every year, and they have since 1954. Well, I'm sure they'd met earlier years, but in 1954 at the Bilderberg Hotel in Holland, I forgot the name of the town, Holland, it was called Bilderberg. So as Shakespeare called his book As You Like It, they call themselves Bilderberg. And they've been meeting secretly, well, it's more than half a century now, 53 years now, every year, every spring, behind closed doors. They empty out the resort, typically a resort 20 or 40 miles out of some
Okay, so
city.
tell me, Jim, who are these people?
Rothschilds of Europe and Britain, Rockefellers of the United States, and as I said, high officials of our government, high officials of the governments of Europe, including heads of state. The President of the United States could not attend after he's president because the White House paper boys are given his full schedule accounting for every moment of his time every day. It's the size of a dime Western paperback. And there's no way a President of the United States could disappear even for a few hours to attend the Bilderberg meeting without accounting for his time. But the obscure governor of Arkansas, Bill Clinton, attended Bilderberg in 1991, and we anticipated a political future for Bill Clinton. That was in Baden-Baden, Germany.
Okay. And what did they do? I mean, the chairman of that group said that, it's nothing, just a group of people meeting together, playing golf, and just talking about business and talking about problems in the world. So there's not really much to it. But your research...
Well, he's lying. I use the term in the full legal sense. You lie because you deliberately tell something untrue to either injure someone else or enrich yourself or both. He is a liar.
Okay. Now, can you tell me, now almost every one of our presidents went through this particular group. John Kerry went through it. A lot of these big decisions happened within this group, and then they implement it into through governments. How powerful do you think these people are? Are they the globalists that we've been hearing about who want to have one world government?
Absolutely. That's been their goal for years and years. Well, we now have a track record on Bilderberg. Quite some years ago, I reported that Bilderberg wanted to eliminate Margaret Thatcher as Prime Minister of Britain because she was resisting giving up the British pound for the European euro. And she had attended one meeting, had nothing to say. They didn't like her. So her attendance at that meeting was not friendly. It turned out to be unfriendly. I had the pleasure of talking briefly with Lady Thatcher after she was out of office, and I asked her reaction to being denounced by Bilderberg. And this is awful close to a direct quote, but it's a very close paraphrase anyway. She used the term tribute. She said she considered a tribute to be denounced by Bilderberg, and expressed anger at any head of state who would surrender any degree of sovereignty to an international body, and she wanted Britain to remain a sovereign state. And there's other examples.
Now let me ask you this, Jim. I've seen a lot of like some of the personalities who attended these conferences, like Paul Wolfowitz, Richard Pearl, Douglas Feith, Henry Kissinger. These people were, and many more, and these people were instrumental in the war on Iraq. Is there any link between these people being in positions of power in the United States at a time when we went and attacked Iraq and the Bilderberg Group? Is there any significance to them being there?
Well, interesting. The first split, and I've chased Bilderberg since 1975, all over North America and Europe, and this is the first time that there's been a split among Bilderbergs. The European Bilderbergs mostly opposed the invasion of Iraq. The American Bilderberg kids, of course, with Wolfowitz being the main architect, that white boy said that they would be like liberating Paris after the boys be home by Christmas in 2003. So this is unusual. Now, that does not mean that British Bilderbergs are the peace party, the Americans are the war party, because they all supported Clinton's invasion of the sovereign state of Yugoslavia in, 1991 or something like that, 1990.
Okay.
They were all for it. They celebrated the United States getting over what they called the Vietnam syndrome and ready to go to war again, make some money. But this is unusual to have a split among Bilderberg on their program. But the main agenda, as you said, world government remains intact. The European Union is almost a super state. They were set back by France and one other country voting against the European Constitution. They think they'll be able to achieve it anyway with the new countries coming in, and they're telling Britain and France not to submit it to the voters, to go ahead and sign it like most of the other countries did, sign your country on to the European Constitution, which would be the final step in making the European Union a super state with the member nations being mere provinces. And of course our goal is to expand NAFTA throughout the Western Hemisphere so that we have an American Union similar to the European Union, with a common currency in the American Union called the Mario.
Okay.
And of course the Asia Pacific Union is the third step. So the world is conveniently divided into three great political subdivisions for the administrative convenience of a world government, which the United Nations is to become.
So is there, do you think what we are seeing now in Iraq, and people are putting pressure on the United States through the putting pressure on the people of the United States. I mean, the media is a big part of this group, and now we see the media, it went from supporting the war, going 100% with the war. As a matter of fact, Bill Moyer, tomorrow night, he's going to have a 90 minutes on the media and how they very much supported the war. Now they are using the media to basically pull away from the war. Is the media part of that group, or is it influenced by that particular group?
The mainstream media is a tool and fool of Bilderberg and the Junior Varsity Trilateral Commission. Donald Graham, publisher of Washington Post, attends all the meetings, as did Mrs. Graham, and before her, the late Phil Graham. They've attended Bilderberg meetings since 1954. The New York Times, the LA Times, all four major networks have attended meetings. They're not all invited every year like the New York Times and Washington Post, but they do attend from time to time, and they take that oath of secrecy that they follow very closely. For example, in 2002, when they were meeting in Chantilly near Dulles Airport in Virginia, near Washington, and Secretary of State Rumsfeld told Bilderberg, European Bilderbergs, where he's dressed in the whole group, but directing his words to the European Bilderbergs who were then opposed to the invasion, and he promised that the United States would not invade Iraq that year of 2002. At the same time, the Washington Post and the mainstream media was saying the war would start in summer or early fall at the latest of this year of 2002. Now, when Donnie Boy Graham came back to the Washington Post and Jimmy Lee Hoagland, their associate editor, who holds him out of the hand, came back from the Bilderberg meeting, they did not go up to the news staff and say, "Don't ask us how we know, but we know. Quit saying the war start this year. It will not start until 2003. If it starts at all, it will not be until 2003. Nope, they let their own newspaper make that same mistake rather than betray any information from the Bilderberg meeting, which to me demonstrates the depth of their commitment to report nothing, to not use that word, Bilderberg.
Okay. Now, do you think the strategy of the Bilderberg group as far as Iraq is changing, and that's why it's like the job is done, we removed Saddam, which was an Israeli objective in its own right, and as the document, the Clean Break document said, and as another document, an Israeli document said, the name of that document is the Strategy for Israel in the 1980s, where it said we need to go and divide Iraq, remove Saddam and divide Iraq and fuel this Shiite-Sunni violence. Do you think now that objective is accomplished, and now the Bilderberger group has a different, are we going into like the second phase?
I really don't know. You're right about it being an old fight, but I think the disagreement between Europe and the United States participants might be over who has greatest control of the oil. Obviously, it's an oil fight, but Halliburton and everybody ended up for their ears. That's the only reason I can think of for the split between Bilderberg and, well, a lot of Americans now, I think, have decided that the war is a failure, and that fool Wolfowitz, of course, himself a Bilderberg boy, telling Cheney and the other kids in the White House before the invasion that the boys will be home by Christmas. It'll be like the liberation of Paris. The girls will come out waving handkerchiefs, putting roses in our rifle butts. And how could a guy supposedly that educated and that bright be so damn stupid? Has he not read about a thousand years of warfare in the Middle East?
Okay, so okay. Where do you think now they're meeting in Istanbul, Turkey? Do you have any idea why Istanbul, Turkey, which is like only a state, not even a state, I mean it's on the border of Iraq, is there any significance to their meeting in Turkey?
Well, they have involved themselves in the Middle East in recent years. They have met in Turkey once many years ago in another town. And again, they rarely meet in the same place twice. At least 20 years have to go by before they return, which they very rarely meet in the same place twice. It's happened a couple of times with typically a 20-year interval. They met at a different location in Turkey. It was quite some years ago now, about 20 years ago. So it will not be their first time in Turkey. And as I say, in recent years they brought in Palestinians and Israelis to discuss the Middle East situation, which was a departure of some years ago when only Europeans, Western Europeans and North Americans were involved.
Okay. Now, I've heard where almost every one of our presidents has to be approved by these people. And also I've heard that most of them are Masons, and that's where the Illuminatis, I mean, we hear about Illuminatis, we hear about Masons, we hear about all these people. Is that like the same group?
Well, you understand, the Trilateral Commission is a little bit more public. They'll tell you their meeting. They'll seal off two floors of the hotel and postcards outside the door, and their meetings will be private. They're not secret like Bilderberg, as in we don't exist. You don't know where we are type of mentality. And they have about 300 participants. But they have a common leadership and a common agenda. Kissinger and Rockefeller are on the executive committees of both groups, and there's a lot of the trilateral kids belong to Bilderberg also. Now, since the Nixon, every president's been connected with one or the other. Ford, the Speaker of the House, no, he never was Speaker, but as a House Republican minority leader, attended the Bilderberg meeting. Mondale and Carter were trilateral kids. Let's see, who comes after Mondale and Carter? Reagan had in the 1980 campaign, when Big Bush was running for the nomination in 1980, denounced the Trilateral Commission in his speeches, said he would not have any members of the Trilateral Commission on his staff. Then he picks Big Bush to be his vice president, and in March of 1981, shortly before Reagan was shot, which of course we all regret, Vice President Bush addressed the meeting of the Trilateral Commission when they met in Washington, and they had a reception at the White House, hosted by President Reagan, who had denounced the Trilateral Commission. And then, so there's been a connection, although in the Nixon White House, in Eisenhower White House, high officials of the White House attended George Stephanopoulos for Bill Clinton, who was Bilderberg, as I mentioned. But everyone, I think, except for the current president, W. Bush, although, of course, he has White House representatives at Bilderberg, he's not been known to attend a trilateral or a Bilderberg meeting. And that could be because there's a lot of questions asked about it when he's running for governor, and again when he's running for president in primaries.
Okay. Now the one
they like to own both horses in a two-horse race. Typically, the Republican nominee and Democratic nominee will have trilateral Bilderberg connections.
Okay. Tell me, what happened in Italy? You were arrested in Italy at one of these conferences. What took place there?
I was doing my usual thing, probably on a Monday night, just sitting at the hotel bar and talking low-key about something very important must be happening here this week, and I'm told that I can't come back on Wednesday afternoon to enjoy lunch here again. Oh, yes, something big important's happening. And then on Tuesday, the staff begins to realize something very eerily is happening. I'm developing sources. Well, as I roll outside the, whatever they call that resort in Italy, plainclothes guys come over and show me their credentials. They're Italian National Police, of course. We don't have a national police force here. And they say the chief wants to talk to you. And I said, well, I've got a cab coming, so we'll take care of that. And I found myself sitting in a car with, let's see, 2 cops up front, one driving, and one in the rear with me. And it turned out to be about a 40-minute ride past a few small police stations to a bigger police station. And they asked me, what am I doing here? And I said, you know damn well what I'm doing here. I'm here to cover Bilderberg, secret meeting, and I'll make it not secret. And this goes on for a while. They asked me for credentials. I said, well, in the United States, we have a First Amendment. You don't have to have a license to be a writer, but here's a credential if it means that much to you. So they looked at my D.C. credentials and then said, okay, they'll take me back to my hotel. Okay, good night. But every evening when I got back to my own hotel, I'd see these plainclothes cops. You can, even though they change personnel sometimes, you can tell by their beady eyes who they are. I'd go over to the lobby and say, fellas, if you want to, I'll be glad to tell you what happened to Bilderberg today. Just come in the bar so we can cool off and cure our dehydration. Oh, no, we just come here all the time. The hotel staff said, no, they've never been here before, but they're here every day that you're here. But that's rather mild. They didn't beat me. There was no roughhousing.
Okay. So tell me, I mean, they're not really a secret group because a lot of people know about them, but why aren't they covered more in the mainstream media?
Well, they do get a great deal of attention in the European press. I mean, page 1 stories on major newspapers, photographs. I'm interviewed heavily. They've used my photograph of me outside the pearly gates many times, probably to enhance their leadership among beautiful young girls, obviously. But it goes heavily covered in by European newspapers. But in this country, the blackout is almost 100% because the New York Times and Washington Post and the networks tell it, Associated Press, we did not want to see the word Bilderberg. Well, the wire services operate like a farmer's co-op. The small daily pays a fraction of what the New York Times with its circulation and the Washington Post and LA Times, and the networks pay for the wire services.
Now, let me ask you, Jim, let me ask you something, because we only have like 5 minutes left. Now, the decisions that are made within this particular group, are they binding on the members of this group?
Well, they, except for the unusual case of the rift over the invasion of Iraq, I never hear any dissent. Of course, they're officially not talking, but they're using their influence to make sure that events take place. Of course, they represent big bucks and a lot of power. So while the members are committed not to oppose whatever decisions Bilderberg reached, and they do reach decisions, like a year ago in Canada, they talked about how a lot of Americans will lose their homes to foreclosure, hundreds of thousands in the years ahead. And some of them laughed, although to their credit, some of them expressed displeasure over these bankers inducing a young couple, saying, oh, you can buy this wonderful house. You only make this little tiny payment on this great big house. We loan you the money for the down payment. We pay the settlement cost for not one nickel in cash. You move in, and then you make your little payment, your small payment. Well, that small payment is interest only, no equity. Then in 6 months or a year, which the young couple seems to be stupidly unaware of, the prevailing rate kicks in, hundreds of dollars a month. They can't afford it. They lose their homes. It's very sad.
Okay.
Some Bilderbergs, that was funny. But I remember when I was a young stud, newly married at the time, buying my first home in 1963, and the years since then as I bounced around the country, the bankers would say to you, okay, on your income level, they ask you how much you make, you tell them. They say, you can afford a home in this price range. They tell you, you can afford that house. But that's not what they did for the hundreds of thousands of young Americans who see their personal effects on the sidewalk and will in the months ahead.
Jim, just because we have a couple of minutes left. Now, I know this particular group does not like the governments that we have in the world because they think it's outdated, something out of antiquity. And but do you think that, and people are talking about globalization and one world government, I really think they don't need to change anymore because the governments of the world are basically doing what these people want them to do because they put these people in place. So in other words, we already have one world government now, especially if the government of the states that really count as far as finance, industry, business, whatever, they very much control these states. So we very much have a one world government now. We don't need to go anymore and have like one globalized government. Do you see it that way?
No, I want to fight back. If Americans would stop watching network TV and giggling on the sidewalk and start reading, informing themselves, they would be outraged at what's happening. Bilderberg,
but it's too late, though. I mean, they can be outraged, but it's too late because the United States government is handpicked by these people.
But I'm not going to give up. If we could educate Americans, they would destroy any politician who bowed to Bilderberg and filed idols if they were simply informed. But the trouble is, we have the most educated generation, formerly educated generation in history, and the most ignorant. If you read just one newspaper a day, not 3 or 4, just one newspaper a day, you're a minority adult American. Only 49% of adult Americans read even one newspaper. And
okay.
Well, I've known physicians and lawyers, other men of letters who've never in their lives read a book for fun. Assigned reading so they can practice medicine or practice law, yes, but never read for the pleasure of reading. And that leaves a very ignorant generation, and that we must fight. We must fight to educate Americans.
Okay.
And save our sovereignty.
Very good. Jim, I only have time to say thank you very much for coming on the program. I wish we had more time with you, but that's how it worked out.
I'm sorry we had such complications.
Very good. Thank you, sir, for coming on.
Welcome.
Thanks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I really think we can't even fight if we want to, because once you control the world of finance, you very much control the world of politics. You very much control the world of industry. You very much control almost everything. You know, the world is controlled by 350 families. Those are the most influential families, and I would say the top 100 families have direct control over almost everything. And unfortunately, you know, I really believe, you know, Jim is going to continue fighting, more power to him, but I'm really thinking that it's beyond us, it's over our heads, because they control the media, they control money, they control politicians, they very much control everything. So what it's going to take, I don't know. I'm only here to give you the information, and you decide what you want to do with it. We're going to be back with the American Free Press Conference that I spoke at. So we will be back in 4 minutes. Don't go too far.
This week in history.